This is Meteo Mundo.
Hi friends, Rusty back here with your latest Meteo Mundo forecast. I hope you had a great weekend. I had a great weekend. It was certainly busy. My wife and one of our sons' birthdays is in early December, so you take those things and add on the holiday season, and for the entire month of December, like on a scale of 1 to 10, we're like at a 12 for how busy we are. But I love this time of the year. I hope you enjoy it as well. Coming up in this forecast video, we're going to take a look at the weather across the Bahamas and the Caribbean for the week ahead. There are certainly some areas that are going to get more active for us here with a good chance for some rain and just some changes in general coming up. I've got some 5-day forecasts I want to share with you as well. Before we get started, I do want to remind you of the new video series coming right here to Meteo Mundo. It's called Worst Weather in the World. It's where I take a look at the worst weather spots across the planet. And this is not historical. This is what's been happening in the extremes across Earth over the last day or two. And it's amazing to see some of the weather extremes that are happening on a daily basis. And the video, again, these days is just so accessible. So I'm very excited to bring you this new video series called Worst Weather in the World. If you're a weather nut like I am, I think you'll enjoy it. Again, it's separate and in addition to our Caribbean and Bahamas forecasting. So look for this new video series, Worst Weather in the World, coming soon here to Meteo Mundo. All right, let's get into the forecast. And again, our satellite presentation shows you that dry air is still entrenched over most of the Caribbean right now. That's what you see highlighted in red. So for the short term, we're going to remain relatively dry, but things will be changing. And if you look at the thumbnail to this video, there's going to be a large area of rain developing in the Western Atlantic as we go through the week. We can already kind of start to see the beginnings of that, and we'll talk about where that large area of rain is going to be headed here as we move through the week ahead. But let's start off with some areas that I do expect to see some active weather in the short term. We'll get into the Yucatan for my friends in Cancun and Cozumel. Maybe you're taking a cruise ship, you're in a port there for a couple of days, you're going to enjoying a vacation there for the week. It is going to be a relatively active week, especially early to midweek. Relatively cloudy skies. We're going to see some rain developing and some breezy conditions. It's not going to be a washout for Cancun and Cozumel, but maybe not as much sun as what you would maybe hope to expect in those areas. I do expect it to dry out a bit as we get towards the latter part of the week, but again, for the Yucatan, we could see some showers rolling in on this Monday and the next couple of afternoons as well. There'll be some big changes for the Bahamas, especially the northwest Bahamas. We're actually going to have a cold front moving in that's going to swing our winds around. Now, it's still relatively sunny for places like Arthurstown and Nassau for this Monday. We're starting to see a few clouds move up to Grand Bahama and Walker's Key. That's kind of the first signs of that front, but there'll be bigger changes coming in as we get into the midweek area. Then for the Lesser Antilles, again, and including the Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico and Hispaniola and the ABC Islands, things are nice and quiet in the short term, but again, things will be getting more active for you again as we roll through the week. So I want to start off with kind of the wide look of the rain, and I'm also going to include on our wind vectors. Okay, this is going to be where the winds are moving, and I want to show you this because we're going to have some pretty significant east winds across the Caribbean. Now, how to read this map? The whites and the blue arrows, those are the weaker winds. The purples and the pinks, those are your stronger winds. You can also notice that the white and blue arrows are a little bit smaller than the purple arrows. So that's another sign of the wind speed as well. So I'm going to loop this into motion with the rain, and then I'll take off the arrows and we'll look at things. But I want you to notice again, in the Bahamas, here comes the change. Look at those north winds to northeast winds coming in midweek. That's going to drive in some moisture with some easterly breezes. We're going to have a northeast wind in the Yucatan, and that easterly breeze in the Western Caribbean is going to drive some rain towards the Caribbean coastline of Central America as we go through the week. And then, of course, we have this large area of rain coming in with the easterly breezes there, and we'll talk about that more coming up in just a couple of minutes. All right, so let's get rid of the arrows. But you get the idea, the strong easterly wind that'll be moving in. Let's start off with the northwest Caribbean rain here, and I'll put this into motion for you. So again, we're going to see showers continuing to develop here, and you can really see how wet it might be, at least for a time. Oops, here, let me get rid of, I hit the wrong button. It happens from time to time. There's a lot of buttons on this system, which is fantastic. It just lets me show you so many different things. All right, so let's loop this again, and you're going to see relatively wet conditions. All right, we have our front coming in from the north, but this easterly wind is also just going to continue to drive in a fair amount of rain. Again, not a washout for Cancun and Cozumel, but you just see a lot of green on the map as well. So from time to time, there'll be showers. And look, I can't say it's even going to be completely dry by the end of the week. You can see as we head into Thursday and Friday, at least some spotty rain that will dot the landscape down towards Cozumel. And it'll be the same thing for my friends in Belize City and Roatan as well. Again, nice little area of rain developing. Is it going to be extremely heavy? No. So not really concerned about any flooding there, but again, it's a relatively active forecast. The east winds will drive in the showers there across the coastline, and that'll be the same thing for the rest of Nicaragua and into Honduras as well. It's a little bit more spotty down in Panama and Costa Rica, but can't rule out some scattered showers developing. Certainly overall, the Western Caribbean is going to be getting a bit more active than what it has been. Now for my friends in Jamaica, for Kingston and Negril and Montego Bay, we'll take a look at your 5-day forecast coming up, but it's going to be a bit more active here. We are going to get at least some showers rolling through. Is there one concentration of rain? Not until at least the end of the week. I think our better rain chances for Kingston and Port Moore and Spanish Town and Maypen and Port Antonio is going to be Thursday and Friday. We're going to have a better chance for some showers there, maybe cool you off a little bit as well. All right, let's take a look at what's happening with the rain in the Eastern Caribbean. And again, I want to talk about this moisture coming through. Now, at this point in time, again, we're relatively quiet, but let's talk about what the GFS model is showing. It is developing a large area of rain in the open waters of the Western Atlantic. At least based on this kind of initial look, the surge of that rain moves more north than west. It is going to bring showers to Barbuda and Barbados and Martinique and Trinidad and Tobago and even the Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico, but the bulk of it might stay just off towards our east. This is something, and I think the biggest variable that I'll be monitoring for the week ahead, because even beyond this 5-day forecast here, and again, we can do this, I'm going to extend this out. Let's go out another 4 or 5 days. All right. So when I loop this beyond the time frame, there will be a better chance for rain with this system coming in for the weekend and into early next week. So again, we're going all the way out here on this model now to the 12th. So I think we're going to get more active in these areas as we get into the weekend, but especially into next week as well. So that's kind of a preview, if you will, of what I'll be monitoring. I'm going to drop this back down to the next 5 days. And then again, through the week, we'll take a look at what's going to be happening. So let's pause that, go back over here and re-loop it. So what's going to be happening more in the shorter term? We'll start down in Trinidad and Tobago. Again, it's a relatively dry forecast the next few days. But as we get into Thursday and Friday, here come our rain chances coming back up for Trinidad, Tobago, and Grenada. Maybe you would want that rain. Let me know in the comments section below. While you like the video, of course, I always appreciate that support as well. Barbados, again, relatively dry, but we're going to start to see some spottier rain coming back into the forecast mid to late in the week. And again, higher rain chances even improving for the weekend ahead. Same thing for my friends in St. Lucia. A little bit better opportunity. The moisture's just trying to get a little bit more gathered earlier for Martinique and Dominica and Guadeloupe. Again, is it going to be widespread rain? No. Will the rain chances be a little bit higher in these areas, including Barbuda and Antigua, St. Kitts and Nevis? Yes. Will it be exceptional rain chances? No, but Anguilla, we'll see that as well. We'll have some spotty rain for the Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico, but again, if you have travel plans there or you want to be outdoors, many dry hours and locations, at least for the next few days. Again, it gets wetter as we get late in the week and into the weekend. Now, let's talk about what's going to be happening in the Bahamas, because this is one area, again, that's going to see some pretty significant changes. I'm going to switch over to the HER model here real quick. We'll take a look at a couple of different variables. Let's start off with the rain and what's going to be happening here over the next couple of days. Again, we've got ourselves a front coming in. So the first thing we're going to see is at least some wind-driven showers moving in from northwest to southeast. So as we go through today and into tomorrow and early on Wednesday, here comes some showers. Again, it'll be some good downpours. It won't last very long, so brief, heavier downpours rolling in from northwest to southeast. And some of this will be able to work its way all the way into the southeast Bahamas and the Turks and the Caicos. And you can see even a little bit of moisture coming in from the east there. And there will actually be confluent winds coming in out of the east, which might actually make things even wetter by the end of the week. But just in the short term, you can see that. Now, as far as the winds go with this as well, let's take a look at the wind gust product here. Going to put this into motion. You're going to start to see the winds will pick up as well with this front. So the front coming in from the peninsula of Florida, obviously, northwest to southeast, the winds will begin to pick up. They're not going to be exceptionally strong winds, but it's going to kick up the surf and sea conditions certainly out there. We'll see some swells, and especially by the end of the week with the winds turning out of the east, I do expect some larger easterly swells to be coming back into the forecast. But the winds will be freshening, especially for tomorrow and into Wednesday and early Thursday as well. So let me swing back over to the GFS because, again, it's a little bit obviously a longer time frame here, and go back over to the reflectivity product and again extend it back out for the week. And what's going to happen is that, again, this is nothing out of the ordinary for a front coming in early December. What does it mean? It's not going to work its way all the way through the area. Of course, it's going to kind of fizzle and stall, and then this east wind is going to drive back in some of this rain. So let me throw back on our wind product here, and we'll take a look at the combination of the two as we go through the period. So loop it back in, and again, so the wind arrows will hopefully pop on here in a second, and you're going to see a strong north wind with the front that turns back out of the east. Now here comes the moisture in the western Atlantic to drive the showers back in. So the north wind dries things out initially, the east wind comes back in, and now we start to see more rain. It may not be extremely heavy rain, but rain chances going up towards the end of the week, especially Friday and into the weekend. So you will be joining our friends in the rest of the Lesser Antilles and Puerto Rico and Hispaniola and getting a better chance for some rain. And I do want to mention, notice how these winds turn out of the northeast and do make their way all the way down into the northern coastline of Hispaniola and Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands and the northern side of the Leeward Islands as well. Pretty significant front for this time of the year. Okay, so last thing I want to do here before we take a look at some of those 5-day forecasts is take a look at the potential for rain totals across the area. So let me switch back over here. Give me just 1 second. Again, thank you for liking the video as I find where I want to go here. Total precipitation. There we go. And I'm just going to show one frame. We'll go out to the end of the week. So you are looking right now at the total precipitation over the next 5 days. It's pretty clear to see where we're talking about the heavier rain. Not a lot of rain for the Bahamas, even though they're going to have that cold front coming in. Look at all of the rain developing in the western Atlantic that I'll be watching surge towards the Lesser Antilles. You can see some of the rain towards Trinidad and Tobago, and then look at the rain up and down the southwest side of the Gulf of Mexico, and then the coastal areas of the Yucatan and portions of Central America as well. So we'll look at a couple of spots for the rainfall totals here. Let me see here. There we go. There's Cancun. You can again see decent rain there. Maybe not a ton, but it's more about just the clouds and the showers rather than the amount of rain. I mean, you're vacationing there, you want a lot of sunshine. I don't expect it for the early to mid part of the week. Starts to get to a little bit heavier rain towards Belize City, where again, right along the coast, they can get a few inches of rain. Same thing towards Roatan, maybe 2.5, 3 inches of rain. And you can see the model just really paints on that heavier rain right along the coast. So San Jose may not get a lot of rain, but coastal sides of Costa Rica could get 3, 4, or 5 inches of rain. Could that lead to isolated coastal flooding? Certainly a possibility. Now again, the model is much more aggressive on the rain on the eastern side of Jamaica, especially again Thursday and Friday near Port Antonio, rather than say Montego Bay or Negril. Kind of the easterly wind keeps the heaviest rain on the eastern side of the island, but even on the hillier terrain of the western side of the island, Westmoreland Parish, areas like that, that lift with the hills could bring in some decent rainfall totals there. Again, not a ton of rain, relatively speaking, for Puerto Rico. And again, spots of heavier rain possible for portions of the rest of the Lesser Antilles. There's, 1.5 inches towards Guadeloupe and Dominica and Martinique. Again, the model favoring the eastern sides of the island, St. Lucia, Barbados, maybe about 1/2 inch of rain towards Barbados over the next 5 days. And then again, a little bit more in the way of a bullseye towards Trinidad and Tobago there, where we could see areas get maybe a few inches of rain, maybe 2.5, maybe up to 3 inches in a couple of spots. But again, what is on the doorstep? More significant rain. Open waters, several inches developing towards the latter part of the week and then moving its way off towards the west. Okay, let's take a look at a couple of those 5-day forecasts. For Cancun, as I mentioned, a relatively wet start to our week. 50% chance for showers the rest of our Monday, 70% chance for tomorrow. It does begin to dry out. Also very breezy conditions. I mentioned the northeast winds. Cooler weather coming in with that on Thursday, the daytime high of just 79. For Kingston, again, spotty rain the next couple of days, moisture building through the week. So we're now up to a 60% chance for showers Thursday and Friday. So rain will be more widespread there. Temperature is not really doing much, staying right around 90 degrees in most areas, but a higher chance for rain, especially by the end of the week. Then for Grand Bahama, again, beautiful. We might get some clouds coming in, maybe not completely sunny for today, so maybe a little bit sleeting, but again, still relatively pleasant. Once that front comes in, we'll get some passing showers. Look at these temperatures drop, and then on Friday, with that east wind, we're going to have widespread rain, a 70% chance, and daytime highs that will only be in the mid-70s. Again, friends, we're across all of social media. Thank you for watching our YouTube updates, but you can follow us on Instagram and TikTok and Facebook to get the updates in between these longer forecast videos. And you can always email us at mymeteomundo@gmail.com. If you have any questions about the forecast, drop it in the comments section below. Thank you again for liking. If you want the latest forecast across the Caribbean and the Bahamas, make sure you subscribe, especially if you want to get the latest updates and notifications for that new video series, Worst Weather in the World, coming right here to Meteo Mundo. Have a great rest of your Monday, friends. I'll see you soon, right here at Meteo Mundo.